acceptance.
Hey, welcome to the tech capital of the world. It's Kernersville, North Carolina. It's a beautiful day. It's 80 degrees and sunshine with blue skies. And Kevin Doyle, it is raid week, baby. We're getting ready to chase world's first on Saturday.
That's it.
So
you got a big
got
weekend.
We're ready to go. And, got some player cards we show off. But there's even a bigger announcement than our raid team, though, isn't there?
What's that? Well, don't tell these guys we're announcing a date today, because we're not.
We're not.
Somebody's already mentioned it in chat.
Truck.
It's not a date. It's not. We're not talking about that. But yeah, did you see that story? We were just talking about this just before we came on. Instead of about this, but yeah, Ford pushing out their electric truck, and this is actually a follow-up story where $100 gets you a deposit. But certain places in the world that kind of won't get this, like in the US, sort of trucks are a big deal. They're big, right? They're just
huge deal.
They're big cars. I noticed when I went back home to the UK, at least, like people were complaining about trucks coming in, right? I was like, oh man, you guys get like big trucks now? They're like, yeah, like these Ford Ranger truck things. And I'm like, Ford Ranger? Like, that's not a truck, man.
That's not a truck at all.
that's a little truck. Like, it's a truck, but it's not a truck. Have you seen an F-250? That thing's nuts.
Yeah.
So it's a very American thing, I think, really. But a lot of these these fancy trucks, this F-150 is going to be an electric one. So I thought it was super interesting. Yeah, starting at $39,000, so under 40 for a 250-mile range one. You got to get to mid-50s or 50s for a 300-mile model. But then they go up to top of the range, 90 grand.
That's kind of where it's going to be, though, dude. I mean, like, when you go to Lariat, XLT Variants, and Platinums, like, they just get expensive real quick.
You go for a Raptor, I think, these days. I think they cost this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not... You do, and I think this is the same pricing points that you're kind of buying them for now, right? I don't think you can get an F-150, like a gas one, for, like, less than this money. So this is not like... these are not crazy
90's high,
prices.
though. 90's super high.
It is, but I think if you go for a Raptor now, I think if you get an F-150 Raptor, I think they're about 90.
Okay.
Because I looked at them and I was like, that's cool, but I'm like, I'm not spending $90,000 on a truck.
Nah.
And
I also
don't.
We got to get the charge grid worked out before I'm an electric car buyer. I like them. I think they're cool.
Yeah.
But like, the charge grid just is not there quite yet in the US.
Right. It's not. And I think that's the issue. I know of one Tesla charger near me. Just I happen to have seen it. It's in the sheets, but it's not at all.
And they're also not uniform. So like a Tesla charger is different from the other charger.
I think that's the problem. I saw MKBHD's review of the Porsche, right? So the electric Porsche. And he's like, I'm not going to buy one because you can't charge it anywhere. Like that's the downside. The infrastructure just isn't there. They're not interchangeable. So they need to become more interchangeable.
And the other thing we don't consider is the rest of the world and people like us that don't live at home. So we buy, we buy a personal home here. I was following a guy on Twitter that I follow, and he wanted to buy an electric car, and he lives in England, but he lives in a flat. And he goes, can I get my landlord to put a charging station in front of my flat? And I'm like, that's not happening.
Right. So he's street parking, right? So he's like, there's certain parts of the country that are like that, right? If you have a car in New York City, like you might be doing that in certain places.
Right.
But yeah, if you're street parking, that's not an option, is it? Like not even an option to charge your car.
But like if you live in an apartment, it's not an option really. I mean, like, it's like not charging it at home, which is where you need to have it. So like, there's a lot of things that need to happen before I think like they're saying like electric cars being universal in the next 5 years, and I'm like, we got to build a lot of charging stations.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think once the infrastructure's there, I'm going to feel much more comfortable with that. But here's my downside to it too. I'm not sure the technology as it stands right now. It's not a road trip car. Like if you've ever road tripped in the US,
that's America that we love to do, man.
Yeah, if you've ever road tripped in the US, it is different than a road trip in a lot of parts. I'm sure there's certain parts of the world that are the same. As Australia's probably gonna be one of them. Places where you can like drive for a long way, right? In the US, you can drive for a long way. Like driving across Texas is a long way. So these things that have like a 300-mile range, and then you've got to sit there for however many hours to recharge it, just doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It just
No.
doesn't. You get a Tesla right now, because we looked at it, right? When you go into a Tesla and you put that you want to go to Los Angeles from here, right? Complete other side of the country. That journey, the Tesla takes into account where you need to stop and charge. It's days. It's days and days and days. It's like, because you have to stop and charge.
You can get on 40 West and just keep getting it, like you would normally in a gas car.
Exactly.
And don't even concern yourself with where you're going to get fuel at.
Of course you don't, because
like every exit.
Every exit has a gas station. It's literally, and that's what we need. Every exit has to have one. And they have to solve the problem of how long it takes to charge. That's the other issue.
Yeah.
I saw somebody sat at a gas station at a Tesla thing. They were there when I drove past one way. They were there when I drove past the other. And I'd been somewhere and done something, right? And they were still there charging. So, I mean, yes, they're superchargers, and yes, they're faster than I guess your home one, but they're still not fast enough. We're not at the point where you have the convenience of filling up with gas. It's not a 3-minute job, right?
Yeah, and when you fill up with gas, say at a local, like around here, a local Sheets, I mean, not only do they have gas pumps on every corner, but when you pull into a Sheets, there's 16 gas pumps or 20 gas pumps.
Right, you're never waiting.
Yeah. And if they're full, you just go across the street, and then there's another 16 gas pump convenience store just in Kernersville. I mean, like, you just go down here, right where we live.
Exactly.
Well, it is everywhere you go.
It is the tech capital of the world. I mean,
so
different, really.
I don't know, but I could see, like, since it does take a longer time to do things, that the convenience store that's built around charging could be different.
It could be different. I agree. Maybe it's an experience.
It's built to hang out. It's built it's got entertainment. Maybe it's got a movie theater right beside. You watch the latest Marvel film while your Tesla charges.
Yeah. Maybe it's more like a hangout, like Starbucks is kind of a hangout, right? Because Starbucks isn't they don't just sell coffee, or in my opinion, not very great coffee. Yeah. Sorry, Starbucks.
Yeah.
But it's a thing to go into a Starbucks, and like people just go in there and they just hang out. I've seen it like it's a coffee shop thing. So you get that similar kind of vibe, maybe. So yeah, I could see that being a thing. And
it could be purely a U.S. thing that we live in, where it's always like you're trying to get everywhere fast. We're never trying to go slow. That's just how we roll.
It could be that too. Everything that isn't driven with purpose is like an inconvenience.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything without a purpose is just something in your way.
Yeah, and like when we're trying to get students jobs, and they're like, "Man, that commute's 30 minutes. I don't think I can take that." I'm like, what are you talking about, man? 30 minutes?
Right.
Have you lived anywhere other than, it's like, geez. I mean, 30 minutes is not a commute. I mean, like, just get in your car, get books on tape.
I think sometimes people
everybody wants to work 7 minutes from home. I mean, like,
they do. So people get used to those very short commutes. They really do. And I can see that. But you're right. It's like you should be willing to. This actually comes back to your job, right? You should be willing to travel for an hour. Like,
I would think so, especially when you're trying to break in. I mean, like, we say this a lot. Yeah,
definitely. Hey, Cam, thanks for super chat. We will get to your question here in a second.
Okay.
Okay, we'll let you know in a second. But yeah, it's funny because Microsoft. I'll give you a little hint right there. But yeah.
But like I tell this all the time, like you need to be able to to break into software development. You need to widen your search if you don't live in a big city or something like that. So it is true that there are developer jobs everywhere, but when you're trying to break in, you've got to widen your search to increase your opportunities. And so, like, you may need to relocate. You should consider it, but like, or commute, like drive an hour to work to get that 6 months. It's not optimal. I get it, but like we're trying to break in here,
Right.
You don't have options when you're trying to break in. Now, once you're a 5-year veteran, you're not gonna have to do that, But even then, you can't work in nowhere West Virginia or nowhere North Carolina. There's plenty of nowhere places. If you've ever driven across the state in North Carolina, highly encourage it in the fall. Great, fantastic. Yeah. Watch the leaves change. But like there's certain parts of North Carolina that's just all trees. I mean, like there's like you could get a job there maybe, but it'd be the one job in that town.
Exactly. We often drive past places and I'm like, man, there's a house here. Like, what does this person do? Like, what did they do for living? Because there is nothing. There is nothing near here.
Remote.
They work remote, probably, yeah. But even when you get to a certain point, so my wife is in the banking industry. We live in an area where there are some banks, but Charlotte has a giant banking industry. She technically works in Charlotte. It's about an hour and 20 minutes away. So if she does have to commute, which she hasn't been doing recently, but she was doing, that's an hour and 20 minutes. And, you know, she makes great money and is not like, it's not her first thing. She's been in the industry for like 20 years or something. So it's like, it can be a thing too. It's like, it's okay to commute. Like, but some people just, they really don't want to do it. And you're right. And it shouldn't be something you should be able to turn down for your first gig. Do it for a short period of time, try and find something closer, or move. Like, that's okay too.
Or move. That's good. It's good too.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, let's get back to our super chat questions. See, you had a good one there.
Yeah. Let me pull it up here. So, Ram, Cam, sorry. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you, Cam. Thanks a lot.
PHP versus C# with viral app. Which one is ultimately going to be cheaper to run? Also, why is C# name/branding so bland and boring? If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have. I don't see the follow up. It must have cut you off, Cam. But maybe you wouldn't have even like looked at C#. It's probably what it is. Yeah,
you wouldn't have learned it.
Yeah.
So here's first off. Here's Cam. Here's the thing that you need to understand. We're going to assume that when we're talking viral app, we're talking web application. Okay. I'm assuming that you're building your web application in PHP versus C#, and we're not even going to go into why C# is better as a language. But let's say that we're picking it solely on the basis of which is cheaper to run. With .NET 5 and increasingly, and also in .NET 6, now that will literally run anywhere. We are pushing .NET applications from Coder Foundry that have a database, interactions, the whole 9 yards to Heroku for free on the free tier. Now, is it the fastest tier? No, absolutely not. But if you have a viral app that makes money, you're pushing that to Azure and AWS anyway. And so you're going to be being charged anyway, regardless of how you build it. So your PHP app technically could run on Heroku. But if you're talking about a viral app, something that you're building a business around, you're charging for it, it's making money, then you're already going to be paying for hosting anyway. But having said that, you can run C# apps, .NET apps on Linux today, which means that you can push it anywhere in a container and it'll run on any of your hosting platforms. So it's kind of cool. And so, hey, Kevin, let's Google the PHP logo and compare it to the C# logo. Let's just do our branding comparison here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I like this. I like this. Oh, you know what? You're right. I mean, if we're gonna go that route, let me just. This is just a straight up Google search here. Look, this is the PHP.
I mean,
right? This is that kind of.
That's not the greatest logo ever. That's kind of cool though. You know,
I would go with if I was picking between these two, this one's a million times better. But I would also say, I do agree that generally Microsoft doesn't do well at
they're doing better. They got the purple going on, so like they're doing better.
It's better than it used to be for sure. But it's still like we're convinced there's just some guy at Microsoft that comes up with these names, and he's some dude that's sat in a room who's not connected to anything. And whatever he says goes. It's like he's just like, let's call it like Maui. Oh, the Maui one was like, this is a true story. That somebody was on the beach in Maui and they shoehorned that acronym into that name. It just doesn't, there's no other 100%. Logical reason for doing that. It makes no sense otherwise.
They named it first based on where he was at, and then they came up with the acronym. You know?
Definitely. That's the only reason that name makes sense.
So I've told this story before, but I was in a dev meeting one time, and I'm like kind of snarky in my younger age. I'm not as snarky now, but like we were writing a big application for a credit card company, and I can remember the guy says, "What are we going to call it?" And he puts a question mark on there, and I'll get the last name wrong, but I remember at the time I said, the '60s Batman show, the Joker was Frank Gorshin or somebody who played the Batman, and everyone started laughing. I said, "So let's just call it Frank. I think that's funny." And so we just said, well, and everyone thought it was funny. We said it's Frank. So I'm at the credit card company doing some work like a year, 2 years later. And this thing at the company was called Frank, and no one knew why.
My.
The app was called Frank.
See, that's great that you have like the backstory to that. You're one of only like 3 people that were in that room that know why that app is called that. See, that's such a good story.
That's exactly what happens in .NET land. There's some guy that just came up with something in a meeting. I was at Maui. Let's call it Maui. I like Maui. Maui's a great place.
Right. It was like, let's come up with suggestions. And it was probably the first one somebody threw out. And they're like, okay. Yep.
And they probably laughed about trying to shoehorn the thing in there. They were probably joking, like, okay, what's Maui stand for?
But you're right. That's kind of as much
multiple,
thought that went into
that.
Somebody got like, somebody Googled it. Like, give me all the M words. They put up dictionary.com, looks up all the M words, and like, right, okay, let's see what we got here. And that meeting, it was decided.
Mostly's not going to work. We can't have a mostly application UI framework.
Right. It's got to be a power word. It's got to be something that's like, unique.
All right, cool.
That's funny.
All right, so thanks, Cam, for the question. But don't pick your coding languages on logos. That's for sure. Don't do that. Pick it on functionality.
Yeah, don't pick it on the branding because, Microsoft aren't the best at that. Some others are. There is some, especially in the more sort of stuff that comes out that's newer. I see some good branding stuff in the developer world for sure.
Sure.
That they pay more attention to, but it's more, I don't know. I don't really care what the logo looks like.
No, I don't
know. Or their branding in general, as long as the thing's good. This is funny though. That's cool. It wants its logo back.
Exactly. I think the logo's bad. That's why I was laughing because I had seen the PHP logo before. That's why I wanted to bring it up. I'm like, man, that logo is like,
why
that's got a glow on it. Pull it back up. I mean, like that's got a glow and a stroke.
Well, it's got a stroke on it, and that's what kind of kills it, isn't it? It's like
that's like a Photoshop tutorial. How not to make a logo PHP.
Yeah, it kind of is. Like it's got this gradient around the outside look, which could be okay if changed.
Super stroke.
But then a stroke around the PHP is just kind of weird. I don't know if this is the official one actually. There's a few variants of this, but this is even better to look, even without some of the things on it.
Yeah, the flat ones are better.
I don't know.
Yeah.
My sequel ain't
not
better
the best.
though. Look with the dolphin and like, this is good though. Look, this is what they should go for. Something like this. This is cool.
Yeah.
Change it up for that.
I think Guy's just making he's copying Adobe there.
No, but I'm just saying that looks way better. That just looks way better. Yeah, some of these are bad. This is just. It's still confidence in a product, does it?
I slapped a logo on the side of an elephant.
Yeah. To me, that just doesn't feel like a like a product you want to be associated with. But, I don't know. But again, don't judge the.
We're not judging PHP as a language. We're judging the logo. So
exactly. Let's judge Tech Rally's logo. Look.
Hey, you know what?
I think this is pretty good. Alex, I like your brand.
I do like Tech Rally's logo. I like the subtle TR in there. If you look close,
yep,
I like it. Joining two letters together. I have a personal logo that's kind of similar that has something done with it.
Yep. I'd actually make the TR bigger, Alex. I'd try and fill the space a little bit more, but that's just me.
I like the drop. I like the drop off the. Well, it's kind of cool and goes into the circle.
Here's why branding like this works too, because it's two colors. It's simple. It just works. It's not over complex. You see some, and it's like people try and make logos that are like, I don't know, man. It's like they're trying to paint the Mona Lisa or something. It's like that's not branding should work in black and white as well as it works in whatever color you choose.
Right. I did the first Coder Foundry logo, and then we had a designer here who then told me the error of my ways and changed it.
Yeah. Because it had built in the logo itself also had built in distress, didn't it? So we're like, we need to modernize the logo. So we basically took the same thing, cleaned it up a little bit, took the distressing out of it, and that's kind of what we have today. It's still the same thing.
Exactly. We still have it today.
We haven't updated it, and I think it's great. I like it. So
custom
a version of it on my hand, but,
Yeah, exactly. And then we really like the way the E turns out. So if anyone knows, the E is more like an anvil. That's what it was meant to be.
Yep.
Sort of like a throwback to an anvil, Coder Foundry. Anyway, enough about our logo. So our logo is objectively better than PHP's logo, though. I will say that. I'm going to take that hot take right now. So, vote with me, people.
You're going to put that stake in the ground saying that's
our logo is better than PHP's logo.
Okay, cool. I'm good with that. So let's talk about before we get to Q&A. We will get to Q&A. Let's talk real quick about your thing this weekend.
Okay, cool. So this weekend, if you're a gamer and you're into Destiny, we would love to invite you out to come and watch us chase after the world's first raid. We did the last one and we weren't successful, but I think that we have put together a team over the last 6 months that will be successful. And, I'm along for the ride. I think I'm the team leader in name only. I'm looking for that sweet carry,
That's exactly the way to do it. Build the team, get the pros in, let them do the work, just reap the rewards.
And so, so I've got I built a website with our new Bootstrap 5 extension of VS Code. So I want to show you kind of what I did here. So this is the our raid site. Now I thought about integrating the Destiny API, Kevin, but then I got to make this little thing called the Selfpaced course. So
right. Got other stuff to do.
So there's a lot of things that I'm doing here, but this is my team members. Tyrannosaurus, get better at the game. That's what he says all the time when you die. Get better at the game. Hey, what are you using? How do you? How did you do that? And he just says, get better at the game. So
he's your Mr. Motivator.
Yeah, he's a Mr. Motivator, it's like, yeah. But he's actually, this guy is going to be in Coder Foundry starting in July, Kevin.
Oh, cool.
We're
I like
excited for him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's kind of cool. We also have, speaking of Bobby, what's old Bobby like as a boss putting you on the spot, Kevin?
Oh God, he's terrible. It's the worst. I actually, when I get off here, it's like I go back to my corner, I put my chains back on again, and it's like, it's bad, man. It's bad.
And so, it's pretty funny. That's hilarious.
Singing
Sato is a guy that I've known for a while. We converted him from League, and he still plays the League a lot. But we told him raiding is fun, and the jury's still out. He complains about it, but. He's a good dude, and he's going to be in there helping us. He plays Warlock, so that's kind of cool. Seaboom is a Titan, and he's going to do really well. The thing about Seaboom is he's going to have to be an alternate because he has to work on Saturday. So he's coming in a little bit late.
Oh, okay.
He'll make an appearance on the show later in the year, later in the day as we if someone has to roll out. So, but he's a really good Titan player. So we've been playing with him all year. And then there's finally me, Code Boy. I've played this game 2,156 hours. I should be better. I'm looking for the carry. So that's our team.
Hold on, you've got to be over 2,156 now, right? You should. Yep. We should program in this graphic so that it actually brings in live updates for your number of hours played.
Yeah. So if you want to look me up, you can go timewastedondestiny.com. And you can type in my Code Boy, and you can see kind of how much that I'm doing. And if you're interested how good or bad I am at the game, you can. There's a lot of raid tracker sites
funny.
that you can look at my stats. If you want to do that. I think I'm going to integrate the stats into this site maybe eventually, but I didn't have time. And then finally, we got Ninja Sheep. So Ninja Sheep's a Warlock who plays Warlock consistently and constantly. And he has a love-hate relationship with Warlocks. He likes them, and then he hates them, and he hates what Bungie does to him. But that's the only character he plays. So, and in classic style, he has a complaint against Bungie. Buff using rifles. It's kind of funny. So it's a good group, and we'll be there Saturday at 1 p.m. Running raids. I think that will. We got Master Rahul. I forgot about Master Rahul. So Master Rahul is our constant parkour guy. So if you have a jumping puzzle, he's going to jump through it faster than everyone else and leave you behind. So,
okay. He's the guy that's running ahead of everybody. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. And so the joke in there is there's only one speed, my speed. It comes from the movie Chronicles of Riddick when they had to run across this moon when the sun was coming up behind them,
Yep.
Vin Diesel said there's only one speed, my speed. So we had that joke with him all the time. So he's a good player. So I think this team's assembled to kind of win. We're gonna I don't know if we'll win Worlds first. Obviously, there's a lot of professional teams out there, but I do know we'll get the clear in the first Saturday. So if you want to watch a team clear the first Vault of Glass raid, we're gonna do it.
Cool.
That's my team. So enough of that.
And that's just Saturday.
Yeah, that's my Saturday.
So actually, one thing, just to re-promote this again while we're here, the snippet tool is out there. What are we up to? Oh, we got 89 installs and a bunch of reviews, so that's good. If you haven't checked this out, go check it out. This is
Refresh
the VS
that. It should
Code.
be 99. I thought it was
it?
99, but
Oh, it's over 100 now. There you go. Yeah, I had it from
exactly.
earlier. There you go. Okay, cool. So yeah, so over 100 installs. So that's cool.
So
thank you to everybody that's
speaking of the tool, I will show something else real quick, Kevin. Let me cut back to me.
Okay.
And this right here is built with the Bootstrap carousel. So like when you're looking at this carousel was built with the CF extension. I've got some custom JavaScript with this title that I kind of enhanced to the carousel, but like overall, I built this mostly with the Bootstrap CF extension in VS Code.
That's
so
cool.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. Yeah, so you can check this out. You can go to I will put this in chat in case anybody who hasn't had it. There you go. So yeah, you can check this out. If you haven't played with it yet, we'd love if you did. Give it an install. If there's anything wrong with it, let us know. Otherwise, give us a review. We would appreciate that. We're going to use this during the course too. So anybody that wasn't with us on Tuesday when we launched this is going to be part of the we're going to use this in the learn.codefoundry.com course too. So you can grab it early.
And Kevin, if you're interested in our cards, the artwork I built for the cards for the Ray team, we'll drop those in our Discord channel.
Yeah.
So Kevin can drop those in Discord. So if you're not a member of the Discord channel, go ahead and it's easy. Join up. Lots of people in there talking about all kinds of stuff all the time.
Also, we just put the link in chat for the where it's going to stream at the weekend too. It's going to be on Twitch. So we are twitch.tv/codefoundry. And you can
28 followers, baby.
You can watch it there. Yeah, we did broadcast to Twitch at one point, didn't we? From this, we do.
Yeah, we haven't done a lot with it. So,
yeah, we just
we do have plans for Twitch though. We are going to stream live coding on Twitch.
Yeah, that's something we've definitely thought about doing. That's again, that's post course coming out. So, yep. Let's see. Okay, if you guys have questions, throw them in chat, and we will get to those. Yeah, now. Let me see here real quick. Alberto wants to know, just while we're on this topic.
You know, Alberto, I am as the kids call me, the boomer of the crowd. And as a true boomer, I play one game, pretty much Destiny. So that's all I do right now. But I play it a lot though. I'm on it all the time. So like it's really time consuming. If I picked up another game, it would be disastrous. So I don't know if I have enough time to play anything else.
Yeah, I've never actually played that. I know a lot of people do, but I've never actually played that. Yes, it is free.
It's 100% free. Yeah.
You pretty much watch everything on Twitch on free.
YouTube.
Yeah. Yep. Platforms free. Lots of interesting content on there. Mainly gaming stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see real quick. Not a question, but Nelson says, "Hey everyone, it's been a while. I've been super busy, and it paid off. Today was my first day as a junior dev. Thank you for your content. It really pushed me to what I am now." That's awesome, Nelson.
Thanks, Nelson. I'm glad we helped you a little bit. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. Your first day. What's your first day like? Great. Let us know in the chat. I want to know what you actually did on your first day. Or did you just get
my first day
did you just do
coding
orientation?
Ear to ear all day long. I thought it was my first coding job. I thought it was the amazing, craziest thing ever.
Oh yeah.
I still remember that day, like smiling the whole time, like, yeah, I'm gonna code. You're paying
like
me.
They're
this
paying me for this? Yeah, exactly. Like, hold on, I like this, and they're paying me. That's funny. Okay, let's talk about this. Mr. Me, how do we get feedback for projects done via the Selfpaced course?
Okay, so we're going to work in a feedback mechanism. We don't know how many people are going to be. We don't know if it's going to be paid or unpaid, but we will look at links if you send them to us, and we'll try to look at them and give you feedback on them. Yeah,
obviously, what we're doing is you're buying the content from us. If you want personalized feedback, that's what the bootcamp is for. That's what costs $15,000 because we have to staff it. Yeah. We have to make sure that everybody gets all the feedback and they get pushed through it. That's not what this really is. We're giving you the same content that you get at the bootcamp and adding in some kind of more generalized feedback and more community-based support, along with instructors and stuff will be in Discord, but we're never going to guarantee you as part of this course that you will get personalized feedback or a guaranteed answer to your question. It's not something that we can do on scale at this price.
And then we also will have live webinars, and so some of those we may pick some projects to review to show people kind of like, hey, where does your project need to be? If yours isn't in this range, this is what it kind of needs to look back. So there'll be some of those live webinars. I do think though, Mr. Me, excuse me, that when you see our project overviews of like where we're going with the project, and then you look back at yours, then it should compare to the project overview. So there's a lot of detail, not only in teaching you how to code, but also what are we building, and walking you through the development process. And we say, all right, here's what our blog looks like. Here's the template we used. Here's some choices of templates you can make, but here's the features that you need to have in it. And if you conquer all those features, you won't necessarily need feedback from us. I mean, like you'll have the project that is that's really cool. So like that's the goal of the Selfpaced course, is to make it as self-contained as possible. But we may have a feedback mechanism or some kind of certification process later in the year, but like we're still trying to get the initial course out there.
Yeah, so we want to get the content out to you guys first before we look at what extra things we can kind of like, where those kind of pain points are, because we're hoping it's not going to be as like, it's not going to be, we should give you enough kind of hand holding along the way so that there's not a lot of that required. Our goal isn't to like, build something in that isn't necessary up front. So we're going to see how it goes and then figure it out from there. Let me see. Oh, Nelson says his first day was cool. He was just smiling, as you mentioned. That's great. That's great.
Cool. That's the way I felt, man. So, it's kind of fun.
That's great. I love it. Okay, interesting question. Hasham says, "Love your channel. Thank you very much. Working on a proprietary piece of software, not good for your career long term."
If it's a proprietary piece of software, I think it's good. I mean, you just talk about it. I mean, you can't show it necessarily. A lot of times when we work in a company, or what I call things are behind the firewall, or you work in an industry, but you can talk about it. I mean, my first coding job worked on engine diagnostics for large trucks. So, without the equipment and the things that the engine was hooked up to, it's like impossible to demo. Hey, come over here and look at my Caterpillar truck engine over here that I have as a demo. We're gonna hook this up. Hey, look, you can see the speedometer in my software. So
like going into an interview with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's not something that you can do, but you can talk about what you did, the problems you solved, the things that you're doing. Ideally, you'll probably most of us probably work on proprietary software.
I would say that's true. Yeah.
I'd say you're not working on something that's always consumer facing, like a Facebook or a Google or something like that you can just show off and say, hey, I worked on the Gmail team or something like that.
And even then, I think let's take Alex for example, right? Working at like Amazon. He doesn't talk about what he specifically does at Amazon. I'm not sure he ever will be able to, because there's probably some, like rules around that. Even though it's potentially like, maybe you're using something like on, I don't know, maybe he's working on video on demand or something, and is like technically it's like consumer focusing, but he doesn't. You can't talk about it that way. And I think that's the same at most companies, right? They don't want you sort of giving away the kind of their secrets or whatever you want to call it, even if it's not a secret, but their methods maybe more than anything. It's how it is.
But it's good for your career, man. Any experience is good for your career. I think that's good.
Yep. And I think once you have your first, second, third job too, your resume becomes more useful. Like just to say that you've done it and you've had time there. You don't necessarily need to prove yourself as much with a portfolio, but you should probably still have one.
I think so.
Just to sort of like combine the two together, but it becomes your work at those companies, and you just talking about those things becomes more valuable than than you need that portfolio to break in. You may not need it on your fourth job as much.
And if you're worried about that proprietary software, just build projects on your portfolio and use that as your sales tool. say, hey, I worked at this company, can't talk about it, I'm under NDA, or it's not very dimmable, but what I used was React, or I used .NET, and so I built a side project in that. And let me show you that.
Right.
So
it's like well, think about what you did, right, with the fraud company. You can't talk about any of that.
Not really, no.
Nothing. Not really. I mean, there's barely anything you can talk about in it. So it's like, I built this thing. It's used in banks. That's as much as you can kind of say about it.
Yeah.
It's like
solves check fraud. So.
Yeah, exactly. But you can't talk about any particulars about what you did and how it works, any of that stuff. That's you wouldn't. So yeah. But it's on your resume, and that's and it definitely adds value still.
Yep.
Okay. See. Okay, Baby Cakes wants to know, does the course cover any front-end frameworks or any Blazor stuff?
We're covering HTML, JavaScript, and Blazor. And then...
hold on, Blazor's down the line, right? Blazor's further down the line,
later in the year, we'll cover Blazor and React. That's later. But the first course will be ASP.NET, which is technically has Razor in it, which is technically... but you're talking about it like a front-end framework like React or Angular. Yeah. That'll be later on in like version 2 of this. And what we'll do is our course is horizontally expanded, which means that vertically we're coming down HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then we're building websites somehow. And then horizontally, you're going to be able to pick, how do I build that? ASP.NET? Do I build it with React? Do I build it with Blazor? Do I build it with Angular? And that's where our horizontal expansion goes, which means that once you've built the bug tracker and say MVC, ASP.NET, and then you go to your next job and like, hey, we're using Blazor now. What we want you to do is come back to learn.coderfoundry and be able to pick a Blazor job and be able to learn how to do that stuff. So that's kind of what we do.
And we're adding this into the course, by the way, not as an addition to the course or anything. It's just going to be part of the course. It's part of the course. It's going to be added in. Yeah. So you're, if you've already subscribed to the course, you get it as part of the course. It's not like it's an extra something you have to buy. It's already all in there. Can someone recommend the best C# course on Udemy?
I guess someone can.
You try as that's coming up.
I really don't know. I mean, I haven't looked at so just try them out. Look at the ratings on there on Udemy. Yeah.
They're now our competitors, but we have to tell them no, don't go to you. They all suck.
Learn.coderfoundry, man.
Isn't that what we're supposed to do now? I think that's what we're supposed to do now. I think we're supposed to only.
I'm sure there's some good courses out there. Some stuff. So just check them out.
Yeah. I'm sure there is. I've never taken one, but I'm sure there's good stuff on there. Just go for the ones with the most reviews. You can't go wrong with that. Cheapest price, most reviews. Tim, should I put a photo on LinkedIn resume portfolio? Is it a minus if there isn't one? As an average-looking early 30s Asian dude. I have an opinion on this, but
you do. I don't know if I have an opinion on it. I mean, I got my picture on LinkedIn.
Okay. So my opinion on this is LinkedIn, yes. Portfolio, yes. Actually, for both of these, you can kind of use the same kind of images. You want them to be professional looking, but they don't have to be professional. So you can snap them with your cell phone or whatever. You can snap kind of a candid shot. What you don't want them to be are either really terrible quality photos or you in a
bad
bar.
Lighting.
Bad lighting, just a bad photo in general. Cropped out at the wedding is an example we've seen. Like, you cut if you married or whatever, you cut your wife out of the photo. It's like and her arms kind of in the side. You know what I mean? One of those kind of things. That's bad.
Right.
Take some candids. Go to like a coffee shop or something. Get a friend with your cell phone to take some kind of candid shots of you and use one of those. Resume, I would say no. Personal preference, but that's just me. I've seen plenty with and some without. We used to have them on our resumes. The Coder-Foundry ones, we kind of took them off. There's two sides to that argument. Personal preference is no, but just a thing. I mean, they're going to find you online anyway. So.
Yep. So what I would do is make sure it's professional. That's it.
Yep.
Let's go. Dennis Ivey. Hey, Dennis.
Thanks for the
how you doing, man?
Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the super chat. Does it have a question or?
No, got nothing. just here.
Nothing.
Thanks for it. Appreciate it.
He just wants to be on top of the board, the leaderboard over here.
Oh, is that okay? Oh, I got you there.
Okay, he just wanted to push Tech Rally down to number 2. So like,
that's normally Paul pushing Alex down there. So you got
Paul
some
more
competition now. Well, this is just.
I'm not trying to bait you guys into giving me more money. So like,
please don't. Like, just let the leaderboard live for a minute.
Just let it live for a second. So it's kind of funny. All right, cool. We'll see. Got another question we can answer?
Yes, we do. Let's see. Ram. What does Ram say? Different Code Fakes always talks about you guys saying you're the only guys who we can trust in the bootcamp industry and doing an amazing job. Wow, that's cool. That's because we like Joe. Because Joe tells him exactly how it is. Me and Joe are friends.
We talked on the phone a couple weeks ago. I think he's a personal friend. This will be Paul. Code near 30.
What does he say here? Recently had a chat with the recruiters. You confirm all things Roy talks about bringing the code. Just want to say, oh, that's awesome.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Okay,
yeah, that's cool. And that's cool. And the funny that you say that, but that information, you didn't just like the stuff that's in the book. Let me just talk about this real quick. The stuff that's in the book, you didn't kind of make up out of thin air, right? It's not like you just sat around and be like, oh, you're gonna do that. It's all based on experience. And we had those same conversations with recruiters and whatever it is and all this thing. And you've been doing this for a long time. So it's all from experience. So we know it's not an opinion on a lot of the stuff. It's just how it is.
Yeah, and the thing that's crazy is like it's not a popular opinion sometimes in some circles because they think that because building portfolio projects is hard. I mean, it takes a lot of time. It takes some effort.
Somebody asked me about this.
A lot of people don't want to do that effort, and I'm like, well, just do it.
There was a great comment on our one coding project video, and I answered this morning. And if it was one of you guys that's here, it was a great comment. The comment was somebody said, "Oh, so now I have to compete with 800,000 other people because that video's had 800,000 views, right?" And I was like, "No, you don't. Like, trust me. Most people who watch this video have never, ever made this project."
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly most. I would say 99% of those people have never made the bug tracker. Because it's hard work.
Yeah, and it's just hard work. But in general, the sum of the book, the sum of learn.coderfoundry, the sum of coderfoundry.com, in my professional opinion, when you walk into an interview, you're in a sales situation. And you need a sales artifact regardless of what you do. So anyway.
Right.
Okay, Dennis, I like it.
Oh, Dennis is back with a 20. Oh no, this is bad. That's funny. Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate it.
Like he owns the board now, so he's just trying to win the board now. So that's kind of funny.
That's funny. Maybe I should take the board off. Let's take the no.
We can keep it up there.
You paid to put it up there. I'm leaving it up there now. Damn it.
But yeah, I think that's great. But the strategy is to show them something that you can do. And the best way to do that is show them a piece of software that they immediately recognize. And that's kind of the crutch of the book and the crutch of what we do here at Coder Foundry. And it just works, man. It just totally works. Now, does everyone follow our advice, even in the bootcamp? No, they don't. Sometimes they won't demo. No, they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But like if you do demo stuff and you can talk about it in a reasonable way, you improve your chances, tenfold over the other person that's walking in with a resume, especially interviewing for junior jobs. But even at, I would say, even if you're interviewing at AWS or wherever else, and they're considering 2 or 3 candidates, and you're in the running for that, and you have projects, and the other person doesn't, I can tell you this, just knowing what I know about the way people make decisions, are that you will influence that decision in your favor more, even if they publicly say, well, we don't care about your private work. All we care about is what you can do on the whiteboard. Right. And that's part of it. But like, I can tell you, like, you show something working, people go, oh, that's cool. That's neat. That's kind of
because it's also not just about it's not just about the end product, right? It's about the journey you've clearly taken to get there, the effort you've put in to show up to that thing with something of this high quality to show, period. That shows that you can actually deliver. That alone, even if they don't look at it, it's just that's how it is.
Yeah. And they'll look at it.
And they will. Even if they say they won't, trust me, you walk out of the room, they're going to look at it.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. There's no question they're not going to look at that thing. No way.
Yeah. That's kind of neat.
They're going to be
spend 30 seconds on it.
Exactly. They're going to be too inquisitive about it to not look at it.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, Zenith says the same thing. A lot of people get told what they need to do to succeed, but having the capacity to implement those things is another story. And that's
true. But that's part of the capacity to implement is part of learning to code. I mean, that's what we're all here on this channel doing. We either code for a living or we're still learning to code, and so that's building that capacity, building those skills is what you need to do. So no better way to do that than build something you can show somebody.
Definitely. Let's go back to this real quick. Just talk about.
So Joe is a friend of mine, and we've met on YouTube. I've been on his channel, he's been on mine, but we also have we have each other. We traded phone numbers, and we just talk, and we're just we're kind of friends, So like,
because Joe's he just tells it like it is, man. He's not gonna he's just not gonna lie to you. He's not. Yeah. That's just how it is. He's the most down to earth guy ever. I remember when I first watched one of his videos, I was like, ooh, this is different. This guy's different. Like he's
Joe's way cooler than me too, though. That's why I like him. He's just cooler.
You gotta bring your cool facts up by hanging out with cooler people.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. This is funny. New plans for retirement for the super chat income. If only, right? If only. We're not getting we're not at Dr. Disrespect levels. Like, come on.
We're not there yet, man. So like, I'm eating all this super chat money and tacos.
It just goes to taco money. Yeah. This is our taco fund. Maybe we'll have a taco taco what you call it, like a buffet at the end of the year with all the leftovers bits that we haven't spent. Maybe that's what we'll do. Let's see. Yeah. VJ wants to know, can I become master? Oh, another super chat. Antonio, thank you. I'll get to your question in 1 second.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll get to that in 1 second right after this one. But thank you for the super chat. Can I become a master front-end developer in 3 months?
So I think a master, no.
Yeah, I think that's the key word here, right? Master.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a master implies that when I say a master, it's like I can tackle any problem no matter what.
Yep.
And I can build anything. And so like, but I don't think that needs to be happening in 3 months. I think what we should look at is, can I be employed in 3 months as a developer at a job? And so when you look on Twitter, specifically on Twitter, you will say when they talk bad about boot camps or whatever, they're really saying that you can't reach my level as a 20-year vet straight out of a boot camp. And I'm like, I don't think any boot camp says that. I mean, we definitely don't. I mean,
right.
That's not going to happen. Can you get a job that you can build a career on? 100%, absolutely. You can do that. You can get a job out of a boot camp and then become a developer and then turn that into a 5 to 10 to 20-year career where eventually you will be considered a master or a senior level. But, I mean, I don't even consider myself a master front-end developer. I mean, we had Jen Kramer on here, and she did some stuff in Flexback. I'm like, man, I got some stuff to learn. I got to step my game up. I thought I knew a lot of stuff,
Right. But that's the thing. So, when you niche down, it's easier to kind of like pick one area. You've got to be more of a generalist, I think, in jobs. I think jobs want more of a generalist too, right? They don't want necessarily somebody who can just do one thing. So it's the master part that. Can you learn enough to get a job in 3 months? Yes.
Yeah.
If that's the question, will you know everything in 3 months? Definitely not.
No. And I don't know if you will after 10 years. I mean, that's the thing. I mean,
Right.
So,
well, this changes a lot. I mean, if you say, plus the thing is here, become a master front-end developer. Do you have to know, to be the master, do you have to know every front-end framework too then? I'm guessing you do. Right?
No,
to be the master. Well, to be the master, you do, right? So, surely.
The master. Like, Angular, React, Vue, I've got them all.
Yeah, you got to know them all.
So anyway, so let's go back to our super chat. He had a good question.
Yes, let's pull it up here. Antonio, thank you. Will the course ever cover algos and data structures? I don't even know what they mean really. Just figured I'd ask. It's interesting because we do get that question a lot about algorithms.
We get a lot. So specifically algos, we'll probably add that later in the course and cover some things that you guys traditionally think of as algorithmic training and things like that. Data structures, yeah, we already cover things like arrays and objects and classes and enums. And so some of those things come in and out of favor depending on what the language is. So, but like you do need to know what an array is. An array is a data structure. You need to know what an object is inside of JavaScript. You'll definitely learn that. You do need to know what classes and enums and these kind of data structures that are inside of, and we just use them as we build our software. So we're not going through a course on data structures like you see in computer science land. Right. Yeah. So like, in other words, like, oh, you know what, this is an array or this is a list or this is this, and this is how you would use this in the context of building your website. So yes, we'll cover that. But if you need pure algorithmic training, then you can go to HackerRank and those kind of places.
Let's see, what's Troy saying here? Talked to a couple of recruiters last week. They said .NET is in demand, along with React and Angular. Yeah, we've definitely seen that too. They also said companies are moving away from PHP. That does not include WordPress or freelancing. Yeah, it's interesting. The PHP
so
thing is
what you're seeing, Troy, is Web API being the way to build RESTful services on the back end. In addition to, you're seeing Azure and AWS building like microservices and serverless functions frameworks. And then they're putting React and Angular on top of those things. And increasingly, you'll see that Blazor probably some next year. But if you're still building applications like a full stack web app, I mean, there's still a lot of cases for MVC, a lot of places, because it's very fast to build. It just has a lot built in, and you don't necessarily need it. But like you're seeing React and Angular winning, but the back end is still written in C# with Web API. So
yeah, and I think the PHP thing is kind of interesting. I don't know about anything outside of like WordPress, really. I mean, I think when they say freelancing, they also kind of mean WordPress, because when you're freelancing, you're kind of throwing together WordPress sites. Outside of WordPress, I don't know. I've not. I think we've talked about this a lot, but I think it's primarily WordPress development with PHP. Okay. Rashmi says, I want to become a machine learning specialist, but since legit ML jobs are rare in my country, I'm thinking of beginning with software design. The thing is, I don't know how to improve and show my skills.
So like the thing is, pick the job first and then pick the language. So, and that, I think what you're doing is making a good choice here. You're looking at machine learning specialists or data science, and you're like, hey, there's no one that really does it in my area. So you shouldn't spend time, especially if you're just trying to break in, learning that at this point. Maybe that's the second thing you learn or the third thing you learn. But then you come in and you can say, I can build websites or I can build mobile apps, and see if those jobs exist in your area. And then you pick your stack from that. And so learning, you just got to learn how to code. So you can go to, Bootcamp like Foundry. You can go to Udemy and take a course, but make sure those courses end up in projects.
There you go. Oh, interesting. Well, this has a follow-up too, by the way. What are the advantages, disadvantages of following languages in terms of jobs? I need to choose one as a specialization. 1, .NET with C#, 2, Java, 3, PHP. And then the follow-up part of this, to what kind of jobs or job options do these lead?
Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to specialize in what you're trying to build. So like it's a website, it's mobile, it's desktop, it's data science. Those are the four kind of big areas. There's also sub areas inside of that you can do, especially if you're, I do believe that I'm not familiar with this. If you're in somewhere in Southeast Asia, maybe embedded is bigger than it is here in the US, as far as like, set-top boxes, embedded, electronics. So once you figure out what I'm going to pursue, that's going to tell you what the main stacks are in that area. So if you're looking at web development, obviously we think ASP.NET and C# is the way to go. Can you build web development with Java? Yeah. Can you build it with PHP? Yeah. And then you hear that they're not as well used or as mostly used in the companies as .NET and C#. Now, if you're building, WordPress sites, then yeah, you got to learn PHP. I mean, that's just the way it is. Now, Can I get a job with Java? Yes, but I think you need to focus on what you want to build, and then pick the language, and then interview at places that are building websites with .NET or websites with Java or websites with PHP, and then look for roles that match the skills that you have. So I think if you do that, you have more success on being a specialist. And then your first job can be specialized, and then you can branch out after that.
That's it. It's funny. I'm going to do this. MSV, thank you for the funny question. What are the requirements to get a job at Coder Foundry? Only funny answers. I'll give you one. You've got to play Destiny.
Destiny 2.
but you can't, but you've got to be a certain light level, right? What's the light level these days? We don't want no noobs. Like,
no noobs.
This is a no noobs thing. Yeah, you definitely got to do that. Or you could pay me. I'll put in a good word. I mean, that'll go a long way if you just want to do that. That'd be awesome.
Only funny answers. That's kind of funny.
But non-funny answer. You have a Cortex job that you posted, right?
Yeah. So like, if you're looking for a .NET developer and you live in the Philadelphia area, we're looking for somebody right now.
Yeah, I think you got it. Well, you got like 5 years experience as senior, right?
It's a senior level role, but it's a cool role. It's definitely cool. So it's a project we've been working on the consulting company Cortex for a while. So we're just adding to that team.
Can you say kind of what the software is, or no? Is that like a?
It's in the financial services industry.
Oh, cool. Oh, very cool. There you go. If you're interested in that, go look up Bobby on LinkedIn. He posted it on there. So.
Yeah.
Or me, I reshared it on there too. Let me see. Oh, so a follow-up from El Antonio. So then, this is interesting. So now I'm assuming to get hired, we won't need to be experts on algos.
So there's a split camp on this.
Definitely.
I think algos it started out because that's the way Google interviews. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's more of an interview process than anything.
Yeah, it's more of an interview process than anything. So, but with all these things, the interview process goes through these kind of wanes, and like, it's all algos, it's all whiteboard, and then people change their thinking on it. And so like what we're seeing a lot now is, hey, you got this thing, can you build this overnight or over the weekend type thing, where we're seeing, and so that's less algos and more, can you build an application that does something, Yeah, and those vary in complexity. Some are way too complex, like
we had so much like building a whole
I don't want to say it because if they're watching, like, but anyway, so like some of them are way too much work. Like, wow, okay.
Yeah. One in particular we had that was just like, man, they were like, they wanted you had to build this entire complex application. It's like, really? That's not a test. That's
too much.
Work.
Like we're talking like 30 hours of work. I mean, like it's just like kind of crazy. But hey, if you want to crank that up, that's fine. So algos are very popular with the Google interview process, and then people copy that process because they feel like that's the best way to interview.
Yeah.
And so that's why you see a lot of these sites popping up to train you on how to do that. So I think it's something that you could look into, but I don't think you should spend 6 months and just doing that, expecting to get a software job, because you're going to be disappointed when they say, hey, you got a portfolio?
Exactly. You have to choose where you spend your time. And we believe it's way more powerful to show up with an application that you can talk about than it is to be able to kind of answer a trivia question, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're going to kind of have to need to know both, because you may come to a point where you're going to have to do some of that stuff. Obviously, what we talk about in the book and what we've talked about before is we try and, as part of the interview process, try and avoid that. We try and avoid code trivia questions, right? Which include the algorithm type questions. We try and have you guys talk more about your project and more about your work, because at the end of the day, when you get on the job, that's what you're doing. You're probably not making high-level algorithm decisions about how the sort works in an app. You're just not. You're being told what to do.
Right.
You're just not doing that. So it's more practical to have the project work than it is to spend, like you said, all your time being able to answer like how to do a binary sort on something weird or whatever it is. Like, it's like, Okay. I guess if you zoom down the basics. Yeah. Or whatever kind of. Yeah. There's a million of those things, right? Like it's nuts. Like, and how much are you supposed to know?
SQL statement, So like,
right.
So, but
yeah.
Anyway, so I hope that helps.
Okay, let's do this. Roy, thank you for the question. How do you know when not to use React? After learning it, this is probably a question for Paul, because his answer would be use it all the time. After learning it, I felt a need to use it for everything, but not sure I should be. It's a good question about any technology, isn't it?
Yeah, so like I would, if you're building a website and React, I'd build it React. That's what I would do. I just would.
I guess it's one of those things. Is there ever a wrong time to do it? I guess that's probably more of the question. Oh, another super chat. Thank you.
Alantonio. Alantonio.
Oh, what is it then? Hold on.
Alantino.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is. It's Tino.
Oh, okay. You're forever going to be Alantonio because that's what I see. sorry, Alantonio.
I know why you said Antonio.
Why? Oh, he's gone. It's because we have somebody on staff, Antonio. That's probably why I see it, and I see Antonio. That's what I see there. Sorry. Oh no! Did I get dropped? Let me see here real quick. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, sorry. It won't let me oh, there we go. No, I am here still. Sorry, I thought that was me that got dropped then too. But yeah, Alantino, I will try and make that better, I promise. But your nickname's Alantonio, okay? If that's cool. And I'm cool with Kev. That works for me. You can call me whatever you like.
No worries, Kev. I like that.
That's funny. You can seriously, I will not get offended. You can call me whatever you like. Let's do one last thing. Troy wants to know: do we ever review LinkedIn profiles?
We've never done that. We could, though.
Done LinkedIn profiles? I don't think we have we?
We usually look at portfolios.
Yeah, I don't think we've done it on the channel. We've certainly looked at, obviously, we look at students coming to the bootcamp. We definitely take a look at their LinkedIn profiles and help them with that kind of thing. So yeah, we could do that. Maybe we'll do that next week sometime. Maybe we'll look at some. Maybe we'll do a combination. That'd be cool. Maybe we can have the package, right? Maybe we'll do the LinkedIn profile and the portfolio of somebody. That'd be interesting.
How they work together, how you should like reference each other.
Yeah. Oh, boy, definitely. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I like that. Send yours in, Troy, if you want us to look at it. You can send it on Discord. You can DM me if you're on there, or you can send it to info@codeoffoundry.com on email, and we'll take a look at it. So yeah, cool. Anything else before we wrap up? We're a little over the hour.
Take one for the road, Kevin. You got one last good one?
I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, we're done.
Well, this one. When are you guys giving away the membership? We're not giving away one today. Sorry, MSV. we will do some more, though, in the future.
Once we get closer to launch date, we'll probably give some away on launch date.
Yeah. Definitely. On launch day for sure, we'll probably give some away. Yeah. And when we do, I was thinking about this. It'd be great. So you obviously have two options when you get it, right? If you've already bought it, you can kind of get it for free, and I guess you can kind of get your money back, right? That's one thing. But you could give it to somebody else too. I'd love if you give it to somebody else, so let somebody else have it. That'd be awesome too. That'd be great. But that's going to be up to you guys. I'm not going to say either way, but yeah. Okay, so we'll be back on Tuesday.
And hopefully we've conquered the world's first raid, Kevin. So
yeah. If you want to join Bobby on Saturday, join him on there. I'll jump in and out on the. I'll be on chat. I'm sure. I'll be checking in on you to see what's going on. I'll point fun at stuff. I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Something to do on a Saturday.
All right. Well, good luck, guys. Keep coding. We will see you on Saturday. If not, I'll see you on Tuesday. See you later.
Catch you guys later.